Who is George Peterson? A bodybuilder. He fell in love with the sport and the art of bodybuilding. Never looked back from there. A bodybuilder's favorite part of the day when it's prepping for a show. Right now I'm on a very low carb diet, prepping for the Arnold Classic, because we got to come in there shredded, as you all know. So most of my meals consist of pretty much no carbs, and it's just proteins and greens. So my first meal of the day is eggs and spinach, but this is about 9 eggs in total, only 2 yolks, because you got to watch the cholesterol. And I just sprinkle a little bit of salt, just a little, and good to go. In the world of bodybuilding, getting in your meals are extremely important, extremely. I'd say about it's 80% of the job, because getting in your meals, getting in the necessary protein intake, carbohydrate intake, that's what's gonna help you develop your muscles. When you go to the gym, you're breaking down your muscles, but you have to fuel them in order for them to grow, and that's what your meals do for you. So that's why it's important for you to take in an adequate amount of protein per day. Usually, the cycle is to eat every 3 hours, and that's pretty much, the routine I'm on. I eat every 3 hours. But when you get to the point right now where I am, when you're prepping for a show and your metabolism is just going like 100 miles an hour, you'll be hungry like almost immediately after you finish your meal. But that's a good thing. That means your body is burning fat at a maximum rate. So whenever I feel like that, I know that my prep is being effective and I'm burning calories pretty much almost all day. So it's very important to get in your meals. Missing meals is probably one of the worst things you could do as a bodybuilder. Don't mean to be selfish. I wish I could offer you something, but it's kind of hard to offer it through the camera. I'm sorry. But I gotta be honest with you, even if you were standing right here, I probably still wouldn't give you none. I'm just joking. This is the Redcon1 Silencer Fat Burners. These are non-stimulant fat burners. They help you burn fat at a maximum rate and also helps you not hold unwanted water, all right? So if you guys are trying to get lean, shredded, make sure your body doesn't hold water, definitely recommend these Silencer Fat Burners. Ever since I started using these, I've been leaning out much quicker than I was before I started using them. Alright, so I call this here the shrine. This is the shrine of my bodybuilding achievements. And this shrine built up real quick. I mean, there's so many of these guys. I'm gonna start charging these guys rent. They're taking up all my space. But this guy right here, this is the first trophy I won when I got an overall win back in 2012 as a light heavyweight bodybuilder. So that has a special place in my heart there. And then after that, and I took a hiatus from the sport, about 3 years off, and came back in Classic Physique in 2016. I mean, they just started multiplying and multiplying. This bad boy right here, this is when I became the first Classic Physique national champion. So this is definitely special. And after that, when I turned pro, this was my first pro win trophy, the sword, which I always wanted to win a sword as a bodybuilder. This is the Tampa Pro win. And these 2 medals right here, this is from 2017, 2018 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia, when I brought home 2 bronze medals. So the last few years have been just one hell of a ride, and 2019 is going to be even better. you ask a lot of bodybuilders, you know, they'll tell you, well, ever since they were young, they always wanted to be a bodybuilder, you know. But when I was young, 10 years old, 11 years old, I didn't want to be no bodybuilder. Far from it. I wanted to be the best martial artist on the planet. I wanted to be Bruce Lee, you know. So when I was about 7 years old, I started studying Shotokan karate, worked my way up, earned my black belt, first degree black belt in Shotokan karate, and I was just in love with the martial arts. And since Bruce Lee was such an inspiration to me, I would do a lot of research on him, and I read that he used weights to improve his punches and kicks. So I inevitably started doing the same thing. And when I started doing that, I noticed my body started to change, you know, very quickly. Started to put on a lot of muscle, you know. And when I was in the gym one day, some random guy just came up to me and he said, "Hey, do you compete?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, you should, because I see you have the genetics for it." So I said, "Oh, okay, I guess so." So you know, that was that. But I still didn't really have any aspirations to be a bodybuilder at that point. Eventually, I wanted to become an actor. So when I got into high school, I started majoring in theater. And when I was taking theater, I wanted to be Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes. You know, I wanted to star in some action films because I could use my martial arts into acting. So, you know, like, it was whenever I do something, I always want to be the best I can be at it. You know, but after high school, my focus went into technology. So I started studying computer engineering. And when I was studying computer engineering, I was so focused in my studies. I saw myself being Bill Gates or someone like Steve Jobs. Because like I said, I always reach for the stars whenever I do something. You know, but inevitably I ended up, what that guy told me at the gym never left my mind. And I would always still see him at the gym, you know, pretty much every time I go. And through him, I did my first show and I placed top 5 in my first show. And then ever since that, I was hooked on bodybuilding. And I started researching legends like Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, and I just never looked back from there.